Hello everyone, sorry for not doing the intro on camera, but as you may be able to tell, it's about 1,000 degrees outside in the UK, and I do not look good enough to be on camera, so I thought I'd just do this intro for you here. If you're melting in the heat, feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy this long discussion of me and Jay discussing Dalek fan designs. But before we get into that, do me a favour, subscribe if you haven't already, it'd be greatly appreciated. Let's get to 16,000 and enjoy the video. Hello everyone, welcome to...
Hello!
Welcome to another video where today we're going to be, talking about some Dalek fan designs, and I'm here with Exci to discuss them.
You can do it again if you want.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine. You can just cut across my intro. But anyway, the goal of today's video is essentially what we're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is find the next Dalek design for the Russell T Davies 2 era. So let's pretend, Jay, that we're like talent scouts, would that be the word? We're looking for, a design that could work on the big screen as the next, main Dalek design. And by the end, we'll pick our favourites to be the next one.
Yeah.
That's basically the goal. Obviously, we've got some phenomenal art to go over, so I'm really looking forward to this. And I reckon we probably have different preferences if our previous videos talking about designs are anything to go by. So, I think this will be very interesting. But with that said...
Only one of us will survive.
Only one of us will survive. It turns into, Dalek Hunger Games. This is our first one. This is coming from TARDIS Man 550. These look great. I love these a lot. A common theme I've seen a lot in these Dalek designs as I've gone through the thread, because I've seen a lot of them, is they've sort of taken a more chromy stylistic approach, kind of very 60s-esque, Dalek movie-esque in some ways, and I really like that. It sort of gives me sort of 60s sci-fi vibes, which I very much like.
Yeah, they feel almost like they were originally 60s Daleks, and then they took a run in the Mad Max universe.
Yeah, and I dig that a lot. I quite like the I guess what would you call it? Like the skirt section in the middle that's got the sort of the smaller slats to make room for the weaponry. It's a different look, and I kind of like it. I think that's a different a way of doing it. Obviously, they always have slightly smaller slats in the middle sections, but I quite like the little squares. They're nice. Not sure whether I would personally do the grills at the bottom.
Really like the grills at the bottom.
You like the grills? Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I do like them.
Yeah. These feel like, especially with the picture that shows them all in the different colours, with also the different colour eye lamps.
Oh yeah, I do like the different colour eye lamps a lot, yeah.
I really like it, but I feel like there would need to be a story reason for these guys to exist looking like this.
I think they could be like a paradigm type thing, like a high council of Daleks, if you will. I can definitely see that. They do look quite grand. I like the sort of proportions of them. They feel like chunky but also elegant at the same time. It straddles that line really well, I think, of feeling bulky and big but also not cumbersome. Does that make sense? They feel like they're like the right balance to me.
Yeah.
They're perfectly in between the two. So these guys, they're a really strong start. I really love the art. And yeah, I think that's about everything I have to say on these ones, so we'll move on to our next design, which is from... This one is actually... Okay, so this is slightly different. There's two images here. This is actually from someone's animated series. This wouldn't really tie in to what we're planning, but I kind of just wanted to show it anyway, because it looked nice. But I think this would look great for, an animated episode of Doctor Who. This is from Ginger Animator, a.k.a. John Granston, from the Five Who fans. Yeah.
Not what I expected. Let's have a look at this.
Yes.
I'm blocked by this person.
Oh no. Okay, so after some, technical reworking, we managed to get to see these Dalek designs. And first of all, obviously, the animated one is mostly obscured because obviously they're still working on the Dalek design by this looks of it. I really like... Okay, so here's something I want to get your thoughts on, and it's kind of been emphasised in this. What's your opinion on the more animalistic eyes of the Daleks? The ones with sort of pupils and sort of, more defined, eyes, kind of like the paradigm. Are you a fan?
I like the paradigm eyes. These eyes, the ones that are actually, eye-shaped and have a clearly, cat-like pupil, I don't like the concept, but they work for this art. Like, I wouldn't want them to put anywhere other than in this drawing where it looks really good.
I think in animation it would probably work better than in live action, to be fair. I feel like this is one of the few... I quite like... Okay, so another thing I think you couldn't do in live action that this does really well in animation is the claw arm, the sort of Dr. Octopus style arm. I don't imagine the BBC has the budget for, like, a fully articulated claw arm in the same vein as, like, like a Dr. Octopus arm or something. I also think that there's something special about the Daleks when it comes to their laboured movement. They're sort of like, everything that they do sort of feels like intentional, and I think you'd lose a bit of that. I know that they've got claws that like sort of move around a lot in Big Finish, but I think for me, if you're talking about live action, I think it would be better if they were static things, but that's just a me thing. But I think in animation that would really work well.
I don't think that making it like a big flexi arm is the way to make the manipulator arm more useful. If you were to do a retcon with the manipulator arm, I think it should be that they can like use it to just like levitate small things about, pick things up like the gravity gun from Half-Life.
Oh yeah. I do like the bump patterning. I don't know what you call them. I think that looks really neat. I think it's a nice evolution, and I think it's quite visually pleasing. I don't know, I think it looks quite visually interesting. So, I really like this a lot, and obviously they've also got some other art with their series as well. But yeah, for the Dalek itself, I could totally see it working in like some sort of animated spin-off thing, for sure. But obviously, probably not gonna be our main pick for a series. But talking of main picks for a series, next we have the Prydonians ones. Now, Prydonian's known for doing a lot of art on Daleks on Twitter. You've probably seen a lot of it. Well, maybe not you, but
I used to see a lot of it.
Yeah, I really like these a lot. There's sort of a wide variety here. We'll start off with the sort of bumblebee looking one. That's just because of the colour scheme, which I really like. I like it a lot. I like how I like it being a bit banged up, but not so much so. I like it that it's got like a little bit of like scars or like dents and stuff, because that makes it look like it's been in battle, right? Like it looks like it's been through some stuff, which I quite like. I don't like it when they go full into that for like a standard design, but I think having some battle damage, like some minor cosmetic damage, actually elevates the character of a Dalek a bit, I think. Yeah.
I really like it as something that can be varied, of course. You know, you might see some Daleks returning from battle that are quite scuffed up, and going onto a ship where there are some absolutely pristine Daleks. I like the idea of making each individual casing show the story of what that Dalek has actually been used for.
Yeah. I like the scaling of this one a lot. I quite like the hexagonal panel on the face. That breaks up the face in quite a nice way, I think. I love the bottom bump being a big one in the vein of Dalek Invasion Earth. It's obviously a different shape to the New Who ones, but I think it's a really nice bump, Jay. I don't know what to say. I really like the bump. You know,
it's a good bump. I like the color scheme as it looks. It looks like this kind of industrial, or I don't know. I like it's industrial or it's handling nuclear waste.
Yeah, or like hazardous materials or something like that. Yeah. In fact, there was something from the Prydonian. I'll put it on screen for like the viewers, and also I'll have to send it to you later. But it's basically like it was from the Prydonian as well, I believe. But they were like medical Daleks, and they had like little syringes, and they had like sort of, you know, a white colour scheme, because obviously like doctors, like lab coats, that sort of thing, and they look sick. So I love personally when Daleks have like individual functions. Like I think that's really cool, as long as they make sense. You know, not like a death squad, because like that's just what Daleks are anyway. But I digress. Like I really like it when, if you're going to do a more out there Dalek, they have a tangible function. They don't just look different for the sake of looking different. I quite like when the thought is there, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
These second guys, though, they're kind of in a similar vein on the page. I like the circular bumper as well, actually. I think that makes them look quite sleek.
But with the circular fender, I like it as sort of a... they look like they could swivel very easily. They look like they're they look like they would maneuver differently to conventional Daleks. I like the idea of if you ever had like a casing that was designed to be nimble and maneuverable, I think they would have a perfectly round fender.
Yeah.
You could even imagine them like, they're going in one direction and they swivel around independently of the direction they're moving, so they can fire and or whatever like that.
Yeah, they look, ironically, even though the Cyberman said that they had no concept of it, they do look elegant. Like, I feel like these guys would have, they kind of harken back more to like the 60s designs of like looking quite almost like they're floating. I can imagine if these guys were moving, that's kind of what they would look like. I quite like the middle vent section on these. I do think that with some fan designs, and this is just personal taste, obviously, I think sometimes they go a bit too much on the vents. I've seen a few too many vents sometimes, and I'm sure we'll get to some of those. But I like it here because it's like, it's not intrusive, it's a little bit in the middle that just makes sense. I like that I don't know whether this is like just a thing that I've never noticed before, but I like the eye shaft bit. The bit where the eye can sort of move up and down.
Yes.
It's coloured to the appropriate Dalek. I just think that's a nice touch, because I think they normally just leave them like black, I think. So that's a nice touch, and I think that like it just sort of, I don't know, it's got a nice like uniformity to it, I suppose. So yeah, that gets a thumbs up from me. I also like how the colour scheme of what I assume to be the leader of the pack is based off of the Day of the Daleks Supreme. Am I right? Is that Day of the Daleks? The
Planet of the Daleks Supreme.
Planet.
Or it looks more like the. I think these are movie color schemes. You've got the
they do look
the
like
black and gold Supreme, except that in the movie it had silver on it as well.
Yes,
that's what it reminds me of. Black and gold Supreme, red second in command, and then the rest are blue and silver.
Yeah.
I mean, the movies had slightly more extravagant color schemes, but I think that's what this is drawing the inspiration from.
Yeah. It's kind of like a mix between that and sort of some more modern design sensibilities, which I really like. I like these a lot. And then
yes,
the final bunch are also just more of the same with a Time War Dalek to accompany them. And I think one thing I want to make note of here is just I see a lot of people sort of in the fan base and stuff saying like, they redesigned the Daleks before, and they look terrible. Why change them? And I think that's kind of why I wanted to do this video, to show that like it can be done really well if you just make slight tweaks and like different design choices, that they can look really nice in their own right and look very visually distinct. Because these guys, they take a lot of the New Who design philosophies, like the eyes are very similar, but they also, they feel different enough, like with the round bottom section, as we mentioned, and stuff like that. Kind of in a similar vein to our first ones. These are from Anthony Lamb, and I love these a lot. One thing I want to make note of before we even get to the design, I love the ship that they seem to be in. I assume it's a ship of some variety. Very 60s. Love that a whole lot. Yeah, these kind of give me like they give me sort of
classic car.
Yeah, classic car, like 50s vibes. Like I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Fallout. It reminds me of technology in Fallout. And I kind of love that as a Dalek aesthetic, I'm going to say. I think that looks fantastic. Anthony Lamb, I think this is a phenomenal design. I'm not sure how I feel about the pincers within the plunger. Not sure how I feel about that. Can you see them?
I can't see them.
Yeah, not sure whether I'm a lover of that.
Or a hater.
Well, yeah, I'm not a hater. The design is, like, lovely. But I don't know whether I'd personally remove them. But again, purely a personal, taste thing. Outside of that, though, I don't really have many issues. I think I prefer the one slat at the bottom rather than the multiple on the first design that we looked at. That's just a personal thing. I know you liked the loads of slats, but I think this is
I prefer loads of slats.
You want loads of slats at the bottom. Yeah. I quite like the front one. Yeah.
I am not... the one thing I would change about this design, I think, is the two slats at the front in the middle section. I feel like that just seems... to me, it takes away from the elegance of the design rather than adding to it.
I think what they were going for was that, like, the middle section, the slat, is supposed to sort of be like the beginning of the bottom slat, I'm assuming. I feel like I'm saying the word J-slat, but it's not, it's slat. It's, I think that's what it's meant to be. They're meant to, like, sort of join up in the middle, but yeah, I kind of agree. I think just one on the bottom would have been enough. But yeah, beyond that, I like also, we haven't really made note of the ear lights before now, but I really like the sort of, they almost look like dials. I don't know, sort of like the shaping looks like sort of a dial, which I kind of like. I like the sort
You
of
like the flat ones,
yeah,
like the Imperials.
yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, so these guys they get a great out of 10 from me. There's not a ranking system, you know. I like these a lot. I like these guys a whole lot. They're definitely up there for me so far. But we haven't really had anything that I would say. Oh yeah,
if these were revealed as like the main new design, I'd be like, oh yeah, cool.
Hell yeah. I'd be down for them, absolutely. And now, this one's in a slightly different design direction. This is from Jack Haynesworth, and it's more taking inspiration from like some more rugged designs. So think this puts me in mind of the Daleks, the weird. You remember the Daleks animated series that they did, the official one that was to do with Time Lord Victorious, and you had
that wasn't very good.
It wasn't, but this one kind of puts me in mind of that like 60s beaten up Dalek that they had in that show. Kind of reminds me of that. I really like
this.
Yeah, I really like the rusted aesthetic on this one. I think I wouldn't want it to be like the main Dalek if it was that rusted, but I think a battle damaged, certainly. I think, yeah.
I would be perfectly happy for this to be the main Dalek design, but like it doesn't necessarily always have to be this rusted and battered.
No, I agree. I like the classic eye, but with a light. I think that's a nice compromise, like a nice middle ground between the two. If I had one criticism, and I don't know whether it's just me, but the third sort of slice of the neck looks slightly wider than the rest of them, and I don't know.
But it also doesn't have any slats.
Yeah. I'd personally change that so they're all the same. That's just a me thing. I'd rather they look consistent. But beyond that, yeah, I really like this a lot.
I don't dislike that. I am just sort of aware of that as a decision that was made, I'm just sort of looking at like.
I think I would just prefer it if they were all the same, but like it's not a bad direction to go. I'd also think the skirting panels in the middle section. Part of me wishes they went all the way around, but then also. I do kind of like how simplistic the front looks.
I like it like it is. I think that's one of the things making it distinct as well from other designs.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I really like this one. This one is my favorite so far in terms of... And not necessarily like on, like, in every way, like for every possible thing, but like as a candidate for what could be the next actual design used in the show, this one is the one I prefer the most. And that's because it's like... It's unique and it's interesting and it's clearly a new take on the design, but it's not such a huge departure from the design either, right? I think that's one of the main mistakes that New Who has made a lot with when attempting to redesign the Daleks, were for either the Recon Scout, the Chibnall era, or the Paradigm Daleks in the Smith era, is they will change all the proportions and stuff, and they'll make them. They're like, this isn't just like a change or a new model. I see what you mean. This is a redesign. It's like
I see what you mean. This doesn't feel like it's going out of its way to like be different. It just sort of feels like it's a Dalek, but it's like it's got a different feel to it, but it feels natural. Yeah, I get what you mean. It doesn't feel like something that had to be like designed. It feels like this just makes sense in universe, I guess. I think with these ones, thing I like about them is I think you might feel differently, but the Paradigm back slot.
I think the Paradigm back slot is one of the best aspects of the Paradigm design. I'm happy to keep it.
Okay.
The reason I don't like the Paradigm designs is that they look too much like plastic. You can see straight through the neck section, and the proportions are off. They're not proportioned like Daleks are. They're proportioned. They're proportioned very differently.
I kind of like their difference though for a sort of new race of Daleks though. That's what their appeal is for me, I think.
I would be happy with them as like a chunky model that needs to show up and be like. I think we've had this exact conversation. Yeah,
I feel like we have. Yeah.
Especially armored Dalek, I'd be happy with them. I wouldn't want them to look so much like they're made of plastic, but I would be happy with them as specially armored Daleks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing I sort of these guys put me in mind of initially, it's more because of the backlight. These put me in mind of like human-made Daleks, and the reason I say that, maybe it's just my brain, but the backlight that sort of goes all the way around the head kind of puts me in mind of like an Alexa. Don't know whether that's just a me thing, but for that reason, I kind of got like human-made Dalek vibes from this. Maybe that's just me.
I don't know if you saw those. There were like these custom Dalek designs that were like really popular in the early 2000s. I can't. Oh, hang on. They had like a light that went all the way around the back, and they looked like sort of if Apple designed the new Dalek casing kind of thing.
Something I'll say as well, I like the pincer. I think I prefer the pincer here than I do in like the actual show with the Time War ones, because like it actually looks like it serves a purpose here. So I like it here more so, and I think it fits with the design. I think you could do a plunger on these guys, but I think the claw does fit them really well.
So I've never liked the idea of having a claw on a Dalek casing because with the plunger, there's always this sort of, it's not entirely clear to me what that's for. They probably don't actually use it as a plunger, so, it could really be it could serve a lot of different functions we don't necessarily know about.
Yeah.
But with a claw, you're like, that's just a very clumsy claw that doesn't look, that's not very, they're not going to get much grabbing power out of that. I don't see, they're not going to be able to handle objects very well, or basically, it removes plausible deniability that the appendage could be useful when you look at a claw on a Dalek.
That's fair. I prefer the plunger. I agree with you, but I don't mind the claw every now and again. I do like as well. I'll say the gun. I like the intricate patterning inside the gun here, like the different vents and stuff. I think they look really cool. The little lines.
I like that.
Yeah, that almost looks like a sort of, it kind of looks like a piece of, like, it looks like something that's been constructed, like, and I just kind of dig the look of the gun. Yeah, no, the gun gets points from me. I'll say as well, I don't know how I feel about, obviously, again, this is just personal, but maybe, like, the top segment, it feels a bit too ice cream coney in shape at the top, with the top head obviously being the smallest part, and then it sort of expands outwards from there. I don't know whether I personally think maybe the proportions could be a little bit different, but maybe that is just me.
The proportions feel a little off to me in terms of like, and I don't know if I imagine that's a decision, right, to have the proportions like this. But I will always go for a Dalek that's very close to the original proportions.
These guys are from Dev Cake Productions. The thing I like about these ones, I'll say, I think I quite like the square segment that encases the weapon. I quite like that. I quite like that they extend outwards from the casing. I think that actually looks quite nice. I quite like the bulbs looking a bit more like human bulbs almost. Does that make sense?
I like on the picture of those bulbs. I thought you meant like the eyes.
Oh no, I meant
for some reason. I don't know why.
I only just noticed as well the eye light can sort of extend in and outwards to sort of zoom into things and stuff, which I really like. If you go on the second image, it's kind of putting me in mind of the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yes,
the lenses. You know what I mean? The MCU ones. So yeah, I really like that. I'm surprised they haven't done that already. To be fair, I feel like that is a natural progression of the lights, is to have maybe a light that zooms in and out when they're trying to look at something closely. I think that's a really natural way of taking the design. I like that a lot.
Also a fan of the sort of slight gap between the bottom of the shoulder section and the top of the skirt section, where you've got just like a little bit of blackness in there, which I wouldn't like this if these Daleks were just like not particularly articulate in terms of their motion. But if you're going to do the RTD era thing of having the shoulder section swivel to make the guns more efficient,
it looks like a separate piece, which makes sense because it moves.
I like the idea of seeing these guys do that, and I think that's a feature that should be in the Daleks. So I like seeing a thing that makes it look like they're good at that.
100%, I really like... I really like this design a lot overall. There's not a lot I would change, I don't think, about these ones. They are just good stuff. I mean, I like the black.
I would move
and the grey.
The gun and the plunger further apart.
I quite like that they're close together, but maybe that's just... maybe that's just like, because we haven't seen it before. But I kind of get what you're saying. Other than that, though, these ones, really strong contenders for me so far, I would say. if we're talking like main design, I think they don't like overdo it in terms of a redesign, right? It's just they're very sensible redesigns, and they actually, I think the light that zooms in and out is a great quality of life feature that I think they should implement. Yes. I think that's a great idea. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. And I really like these ones a lot. So they might be getting my vote, but we'll see. There might be some more that get my vote. But yeah, the next ones, now there's sort of two different vibes to these two different designs. These are from Christopher Clark. And so, yeah, as I was saying, these guys have two different vibes. So you've kind of got the first lot, they kind of look more sort of refined Daleks, like sort of bespoke, clean Daleks, if you will. And then the other ones are more battle-ready, battle-trodden.
Yes.
Like a weird hybrid between the Revolution Daleks and, like, the Ironsides.
Yeah, I really like this this take on it. I really like they look like, they're down in the trenches Daleks.
Yes. Yeah, which I really like a lot. I think if there was another war, like another big galactic war, this feels like the next logical step in the Time War Dalek design philosophy, if you get what I mean. Like, it's got the sort of bolts and stuff, but it also, like, they feel even more militant, arguably, than the Time War ones do, to a certain degree. I think they're the logical evolution in that sort of style.
They don't have anything that's particularly, like, that's overtly reminiscent of actual, like, human tanks or anything, but they look very militaristic in their construction.
Without it being too explicit or direct, which I really like.
And I do like the dichotomy of the grimy Daleks that you would probably see doing ground invasions versus the other Daleks that I imagine you would only see on
like
spaceships.
The high command ones that, like, it's sort of beneath them to get damaged and things
like that. Not necessarily even high command, just like admin. They don't go out. They sort things out on the ship. They're the pilots.
I will say, personally, because obviously I know the Supreme one has sort of similar vibes to the 2008 one with the sort of neck. Yes. I don't know, the neck stabilizers. I don't know what they're called.
They were originally designed to slot into a throne prop that never got built.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool. I would say, with these guys, though, I think my one thing would be that I wish the middle one was there. I think it just feels weird with one not being...
Yeah. I've seen it done without the middle one a few times, and to me it just feels kind of mullety.
Yeah, to me it just feels like there's something missing. Like, it feels like that it needs to be there. And look, you even got, like, in the middle segment here, you can sort of see there's a bit where the sort of middle vents, or the middle sort of segment, like, there's a little gap in it. So I feel like it wouldn't even be that hard to just, like, have it slot in there, I just feel like it should have one at the front. But beyond that, I like both versions of these designs, and I like, as we were sort of saying, the in-universe functions that they would serve. If I had to pick a personal favourite between the two, it probably would be the War Daleks, just because I think they look more unique to me, and I think, I can just really see them being, like, threatening. If you, like, come across one of them, you're scared, like, what I mean? I think the Daleks, I feel like the Time War Daleks, we're so accustomed to them that, like, it's kind of like, it's lost some of that wow, I don't know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, these ones, I think these ones are designed specifically to my heart. So, you might hate these, but these are from Dalek Chris, and they are based off the Paradigm. And what they basically are is a modernized version of the Dalek Paradigm with some different elements to them. I really like these. I know that you might not, but...
I don't love them. However, I think they are in every way an improvement on what they're based on.
Fair.
So I can't really complain.
Fair.
They are, they're the Paradigm Dalek. They look like a halfway point between the 2005s and the 2010s.
Yeah, I see that. I think maybe personally, maybe you'll disagree on this. The sort of middle neck segments, I kind of wish they were black rather than in the colour that the Dalek is in. Maybe that's just me. Or in the grey that the middle segment's in, just to sort of break it up a little bit. But maybe that's just me. But beyond that, I really like this. I really like kind of what the last one had of like the different eye colours. The first one had rather like the different eye colours. I like that for each design. Yeah, I like these a lot. I know they're probably not your favourite, but I do dig these quite a bit.
I eyeballed them for a while. I mean, I would miss, if these became the main design, I would miss the conventional middle section, right? The shoulder section. The Paradigm Daleks have always had like this weird shoulder section that's not quite like any other.
Yeah, I know.
And I would miss that, but I don't dislike what this is. I would just miss the normal one.
They look a bit proportionally like more in line with average Dalek. So I think they as you said, they are kind of a good mix between 2005 and 2010. So I kind of like that.
Other than that, though, my only real complaint about these, because I think I like every other aspect of them. My only complaint is that I think the metallic shades don't quite work.
Okay, I like the metallic shades personally.
So to me, it's more reminiscent of like gift wrapping than an actual like metal.
Okay.
Especially with the red and the blue next to each other.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of iPhone colours.
Yeah, I like the gold and I like the white. I'm not a fan of the blue, the red, or the orange. I would prefer it. I would prefer it if they were like, I mean, we've seen the Prydonians art where it's it's a matte color, but it's like chipped away, and you can see that it's metal below the paint. I think I would much prefer that, and then I would be very happy with these designs.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good ones. Honestly, we've had like a bunch of good like art here already. I really do like these. They do have the one issue that I sort of mentioned earlier, but these might be my favourite, or at least a contender for them. These are from Benjua SFX and VFX, I apologise, and I will put them in there. I really like these. I like the colour scheme. I like that it's a bit worn. I like the sort of 50s inspiration. I like them a lot. The only thing I would fault is perhaps maybe I don't mind the slats in the next segment, the sort of vents in the next segment, but I think I prefer the more standardized vents that we've come to see rather than the little cube ones. Like, that's just me. Beyond that, I don't really see any faults with these. Like,
these feel to me like the kind of Daleks that you would get if they were the enemies in a like 2010 era first-person shooter.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Yeah.
And I like that about them. I like that vibe.
They very much feel like a modern reimagining, which I like. They also have the more circular, elegant sort of style of bumper segment that some of the Prydonians designs did, which I really liked on there as well. So I like the elegance of that. Obviously, most of them have the plunger, but you also got one with a one-off claw. I think a one-off claw to do certain things, I think works fine. I think it comes back to that thing I was saying to you before of like, different Daleks having different purposes. But yeah, I think these guys, they strike a balance between old and new in a real nice way. I like the big Dalek cone lights. I know you were saying that we kind of like the smaller ones, but I don't know, I feel like the big ones work here quite well.
I mean, so for the eyes...
okay.
I like the eyes, but I've never been a fan of the Paradigms do this, of having... I always think that they should be visually only look like they can go up and down, and the head is for spinning. The head is for left and right.
You're right. Yeah, I see what I mean. It looks like it's almost like an analog stick on a game controller. It's sort of like... Yeah. The implication is that it can go in every direction, which would look weird, I think, yeah.
Yeah, like if a Dalek used just its eye to look really far left or really far right, I feel like it would look really off. But if you just let them move their eyes up and down, but have it look like it can move in any direction, then that seems like, wait, why aren't they using the full
I didn't even think
range of motion?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I do really like these a whole lot. I do really enjoy the aesthetic of these. I like the room that they're in as well. It's very clinical. It kind of it harkens back to the original 60s black and white sets in a way that I really like, whilst also feeling modern. Yeah, I really... This is a great art. We've had some phenomenal art in this whole thing, to be fair. Like, it's all been really well done. I think now what I'm going to ask you, Jay, is do you have... Like, if you had to pick one of the designs that was featured today, to be the new Dalek design, what are you picking? The rusted one. Yeah, you really like the rusted. You did really like the rusted one. Yeah, I love the rusted one too. They are really nice. Would you have them be like, obviously, like you'd have them sometimes clean, sometimes rusted, like, or would it? Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Well, or actually, it's a toss-up. Either that, or I'm kind of leaning towards these ones.
Yes, they were sort of going to be my leaning as well. Well, I'm sort of torn between two, actually. I'm torn between those, and I'm torn between the ones we saw with the eyes that go in and out, and maybe the bottom ones as well. I think maybe like these guys. These look really good as well. I just like the innovation of the eyes that like squint in and out, because I've not seen that done before, really, and I think it's a really cool innovation. But I know that you don't really like the guns and that being so close together. So I think if I had to pick one that just doesn't really do anything wrong, it would probably have to be particularly the black ones of these, the sort of the war type Daleks. I really dig. I like them a lot.
Right, so since we are in charge of everything, I think we should go for the ones that we agree on are really good and should be used. The ones that we both have picked out as the best ones.
Yeah.
We will use our powers to make those the next Dalek designs.
We will. We actually run Doctor Who. It's all a big elaborate scheme. They want you to think it's them, but in reality, we have control.
We haven't been in control since 2018, and we've just regained control in this last year.
Yeah, let's not take responsibility for that. But I think that wraps up our journey through Dalek fan designs. Thank you all for watching. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people? Jay?
I personally wrote Kill the Moon.
And I think that's going to be it, everyone. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.
Why?